Everybody, I want to show you how to use a Tayasui Sketches app. So Tayasui Sketches is what I use a lot of my art for, and it's a very useful app. And I just wanted to show you some quick things that you can do to make your own kind of app, right? So the first thing I want to show you is how to make a cool green shape. So I'm going to go here in the bottom right hand corner. We got these two colors pulled up. I'm going to change my color to green. I'm going to click on these little tools on the left hand side. I'm going to go down to that hexagon shape right there. If I click on that, you will see that near the bottom there is the 12 dots highlighted in the red there. And if you go underneath that, you got words you can use. Underneath that, you got some shapes. So I'm going to click on that square shape, makes a square shape appear. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch wide open, just using my fingers to pinch that square wide and make a little green field, right? Now I'm going to switch to blue, and I'm going to give myself a nice blue sky, pinching that wide open too. Okay. Now I got a nice little background, so I want to click on that top right button, which will put in a new layer. So now I'm working on a new layer. So now I can play with the things on this next layer without interfering with those background colors. Okay, so next I'm going to come up and make a nice little person, right? So how to do that is go to that same tool again, right? But instead of using the shapes, instead of using the letters, we're going to click on that top thing there with the 12 dots and find our big black circle, right? So our big black circle is there. So I'm going to draw a person with that. So I'm just dragging my finger along the screen until my shape appears the way I like it. So there you go. I have my shape right there. Okay, next what I want to do is I want to show you how you can copy the shape. Now, it's important that we're on that different layer now, because when we select the shape, we won't select the background colors, right? So I'm going to take this little sharp X-Acto knife, you might call it a sharp, and I'm going to draw a circle around my little guy with that, right? Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shrink him down or make him big by pinching in and out. So I'm going to shrink him down a little bit. And then next, I'm not done. I want to make a copy of him. So the way I do that is I put two fingers on top of him, and then I drag him slowly across. Okay, and that made a copy of him, right? And I can hit that check mark at the bottom of the page there. Okay. Now, another place that that person is stored is in our paste department. And to find our paste department, we go to the top screen where there's the three dots in the circle. I click on that top screen, and then I hit import, and then there's the paste option, right? So I pasted that guy again. So there he is again. Now we have three of that guy, right? So another thing you can do with that import thing is you can import a photo, right? But before we do that, I'm going to start a new layer, right? So I'm going to go to a new layer. Right now we have 3 layers, right? But I'm going to drag this guy down on top of this guy to make that 1 layer. So you can merge layers like that. So I'm going to add a new layer, okay? So now I'm working on this new layer, and I'm going to import a photo, right? So I'm going to find a photo that I like from my photos, click on import, and let's see what we got here. We got this face, right? So we got this face right here. The only problem with this face is that we got all these edges to it that I don't like. So we're going to get out our eraser, right? So I click on that left-hand column. There's the eraser button, right there. And I can start erasing things around him, right? So I'm erasing him, yeah. And I can make my eraser thicker or thinner by pressing on the right-hand side here, which will bring up something that changes the size and the opacity of my eraser. So now my eraser is a little bit bigger. I can make it gigantic. So there I got a really big eraser, so I can work more quickly, right? So that really big eraser is very convenient. But now when I'm getting to the edges, I might go, oh, that eraser is too big. I want to do smaller work now. So I'm going to make my eraser smaller, right? And remember to do that, you just click on that those two little lines on the side there that pull up that menu. Okay. So now I got these little, gonna work a little finer with this eraser there. Okay, so that looks good enough to me. Okay, now I'm gonna click on that sharp again, the little cutter. I'm gonna put a line around my head. All right, now I can make my head bigger or smaller, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put him over here. And again, I'm gonna make a copy of him by putting my 2 fingers on his face and dragging it. 2 fingers on his face and dragging it, right? And then when I'm done with that, I can hit that check button at the bottom, and there I have some wonderful drawings there. Okay. And then I'm going to just kind of merge these layers together, right? Just because I like merging things. Okay. But now, you know what? I'm looking at these guys, and I think they need a shadow, right? So one way I could do a shadow with them is I can click on my little hexagonal shape, and instead of selecting the dark black circle, I'm going to go all the way to the left side and hit the lightest gray circle. Okay, so now I'm going to pinch in and I'm going to put a little shadow underneath that guy right there. Okay, put another little shadow underneath that guy too, and another little shadow underneath that guy. So I got all these great shadows going on. Okay, so those are my guys there. And now I'm looking at that grass and I go, I bet that grass could be a little bit better. So I'm going to go back to my background layer by selecting it, and then I'm going to pull up some horizontal lines here. And then if I click it, now my grass looks a little bit more interesting. Okay, so now I don't like how these guys all have the same color shirt on. So I'm going to give him red shirt. So I'm going to go back to that black circle, and I'm going to draw him a nice red shirt. Oh, but I'm in the background, so that's not working. So look what happened when I went to the background. So I go back to the top layer and give this guy a nice red shirt, right? Okay. And now I'm going to give this other guy a nice yellow shirt, right? And now I think I'll give this guy a good pink shirt. Okay. So I got all that going on, right? So that looks fine. But something's weird about how he doesn't have fingers, right? So maybe I want to add some fingers to him. So instead of using, well, you can just use that shape maker that we were using before. Click on the black circle and draw yourself a nice little hand there, right? So a lot of pinching in and pinching out to give your guys some nice hands, right? So these guys all have some nice hands. There you go. Okay, looking good. Okay, so now let's have these guys have a little conversation, okay? So maybe I'll select that color red again, and this time I'm just going to press on the shirt where the red is. Just hold my finger there until I get the pigment that I want, okay? And then after I've done that, I'm going to zoom in a little above his head and have him have a little text bubble. And then I'm going to get the pigment from his shirt, zoom in on his head, and get another little text bubble. And then finally, I'll zoom in on his shirt and give him a little text bubble too, right? So they're all color-coded with their little text bubbles, okay? So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to zoom in on those text bubbles, and this time I'm going to choose text, right? So I can click on that dots A hexagon tool, and this time we're moving it from the dots to the letter A, right? So then we can click on one of the texts that we like, and he's just going to say, hello, right? And I can zoom in and out on those colors to make it nice and big, right? So he's saying hello. You zoom in on the other guy. Click on the text thing again. Maybe use a different text because he has a different personality. And this guy's going to say, howdy, howdy. So we zoom in just like that. Good, good. We got that, right? And then one more text we're going to do. We'll make this one say, good day. Good day. Okay, so I'm going to zoom that a little bit bigger so it's a little more easy to read. Then I'm going to hit that check mark at the bottom and then zoom out again. Right? So that's just a very simple way of using Tayasui Sketches, and just a few simple things you can do with it, from using text to making copies to using shadows to doing textures. Now when you're done with it, normally what I end up doing is I end up clicking those 4 squares at the top of the screen, and that will send it to a folder that says you're done, right? And that'll kind of save your picture so that you can use it later. Okay, so normally after you've done that, what happens is it saves to your photo files, right? I'm just going to go into my photo files to make sure it is. Okay, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There's a lot more you can do with it. I just wanted to show you the quick ins and out of the program and see if this is helpful for you to get started with Tayasui Sketches. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.